Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a early impressions video of the Tangzu collab with HBB. This is the Xuan NV. It is a double dynamic driver on each side and something that I think is a little bit more comfortable than the Truthier Critical Zero Reds and the Blues. You can see the shell is a lot smaller, and particularly the nozzle, it is quite a bit smaller as well. So it's definitely got a better fit than the Truthier Critical Zero, either the red or the blue. With its double dynamic driver orientation, the tuning is somewhat similar to the Truthier Critical Red. And I'll show you guys actually the graph that HBB himself has on his squig links. But you can see that the tuning is a little bit similar to the default tuning of the Reds, and it's similar to the tuning of the Truthier Hexas. Personally speaking, I think this performs a little bit better than both of those, meaning the default tuning of the Reds, again, not with the impedance adapter, and the default tuning of the Truthier Hexas. I think it performed a little bit better in Apex, Valorant, as well as Call of Duty, particularly Resurgence. I have not tried either Counter-Strike 2, I have not tried Rainbow Six Siege. I might add that testing in the future when I put these on the spreadsheet that I'm working on. But overall, for Apex Legends, they will be Wallhack certified, particularly in the price range of $70. And they'll be Wallhack certified as well for Valorant and Call of Duty. I think at $70, these perform quite well. The tuning, the flavor is more of this openness. When you go into each of those three titles, you get this kind of balanced with a little bit of a hint of brightness, but nothing I think that ever felt too bright or cumbersome with particular gunshots and or when you, for instance, take these in the music and you get that upper region with cymbal strikes. Nothing that ever felt sibilant to me or fatiguing. I do think that in Apex Legends, you will notice it almost immediately compared to something I'm testing right now, the 7 Hertz Aurora. But when you take them in game and you compare it to something like that, you'll just notice kind of a reduction in immersiveness. And I think that detracts from Apex a little bit. You start to lose things that are happening around you just a smidge, despite how good the imaging is and despite how good other aspects of the IEM are, and they are quite good. The imaging is fantastic on this. I thought verticality was good. And I thought that overall depth perception was actually quite nice on these as well, because a lot of the things in Apex, such as people shooting a 301, a flatline, a lot of the effects in the game do carry over into the presence region with that these kind of pull out in your face a little bit more. So the depth perception on a lot of those things in Apex is actually phenomenal. And I would definitely rate that quite highly on the Tangzu Xuan NV. I do think, though, that because that region is a little bit more emphasized, a little bit more in your face, when a lot of people are shooting around you, you're shooting a 301, your teammates are shooting, it's more the shooting effects that are, and a lot of the grenades carry over into that region as well. But a lot of the gunfire actually colludes the little things that are happening around you, which would reduce the ranking of these for Apex Legends in particular. But other than that, imaging was great. The game sounded great. The tuning is something that is still something, it sounds great. But overall, I would say the only things that I'm kind of taking marks away from right now were the issues I just mentioned with gunfire being a little bit too in your face, a little bit too much of a separation issue to a few other things that are happening around you when you're trying to hear people slide or other things. Other than that, again, imaging was great, depth perception, verticality, I think it's all there. When you move over, and I would say right now, like on the Wallhack certified tier list, these do make it. But this would probably be a tick lower than something like the Truthier Critical Zero Blues. I think that tuning just provides a little bit more of an emphasis and a reactionary element to the things that are happening around you with that elevated mid-bass and a little bit of that elevation in the sub-bass region as well. I think the Blues, again, beat out the Reds, and the Blues will beat out these as well for Apex. In Valorant, these actually sound fantastic. The imaging is great, depth perception is great, and you do get a nice bit of emphasis on the things that are happening around you, which is very important on the read of where things are coming from horizontally behind walls, and again, from depth perception as well, because these, with this particular tuning, do tame that bass a little bit on more of the boomy things that can collude things in Valorant, the Sheriff, the Operator, grenade, or even the Vandal, spamming a Vandal, kind of tames that a little bit. And a lot of the things in the game do have a more trebly element to it, people tapping on metal and things like that. These bring that out quite nicely, but there are times where footsteps can be quite thumpy depending on the material, and I'll show you guys clips here, but depending on the material, become a little bit more thumpy, and I felt like that, those sound cues, the horizontal imaging became a little bit worse in terms of depth perception, both how far somebody was coming from behind a wall and where somebody was exactly. But overall, these performed fantastic in Val, and I think performed better in Val than they did in Apex. I would give these probably a solid B, honestly, for Valorant on my personal Wallhack certified tier list. B to a B minus. For Call of Duty, these actually perform very well in Call of Duty Resurgence. Call of Duty Resurgence is kind of one of those interesting games where the audio is just absolutely abysmal, and you're trying to find the IEM that has a default tuning that makes the terrible audio less terrible, and these definitely perform well enough to make the experience less terrible. It brings down a lot of the things that are happening around you, the certain audio cues that are popping off in-game, precision airstrikes and things like that get a little bit more tame. But there are still times that you lose that immersiveness with this particular tuning, and you do lose a little bit of things that are happening around you, despite those precision airstrikes and other things being a little bit more tame. But I did find that my experience with this in Call of Duty Resurgence was actually quite good. I never felt like a deer in the headlights with these. I had adequate audio of people parachuting in, verticality, depth perception with gunfire. I would just say there are times where when things are happening, you do miss out a little bit on audio cues within the same frequency range. So separation, layering, etc. became a little bit of an issue, particularly, again, with certain types of gunfire, and then just missing a little bit of slides and things like that. I think for Call of Duty Resurgence, you're kind of looking for this happy balance of having enough mid-bass and sub-bass to not ever feel too, again, of an effect on separation, but still providing you an emphasis on hearing the things that you want to hear. So, again, quite good, just not along the lines of something like and again, much more expensive, but a Yanyan Cannon 2 for Call of Duty I find to just be absolutely amazing. And something with a little bit more bass, but also something that has a very clean bass, a little bit more tame, the Into Aura Splendors that we recently reviewed as well. I do think, though, that these perform exceptional. For $70, I think they perform exceptional in the 3 games that I tested them in. Just those few areas that I would take down marks right now a little bit. Right now, moving into the future, I'm trying to test more games. I've definitely now actively included Call of Duty Resurgence, so that will be in a lot of the testing moving forward for the Wallhack certified tier list in particular. If anybody's interested, I think right now the best thing that I have in terms of performance in Call of Duty is probably the Yanyan Cannon 2. You guys can find a link to that down below, but I think they're absolutely amazing and better than the Orchestra Lights for Call of Duty Resurgence in my particular opinion. In terms of what you get in the box of the Xuan, I think for $70, it is probably one of the better budget cables that I've seen come with an IEM. I think it's very comfortable, and it's just quite a nice look mixed with the IEM itself. And you do get 2 sets of Tangzu Xuan ear tips that I actually do enjoy. One is a wider bore, and one is a more narrow bore. They label them as balanced and wide. So overall, I do like this particular IEM. It's going to make the Wallhack certified tier list, and if you're looking for an alternative, and one that I think might even be better than the Truthier Hexa, the Tangzu Xuan NV right now is going to be joining the list. I just have a little bit more testing in a few more titles that I want to start adding to a graph that I'm working on. Again, CS2 as well as Rainbow Six Siege. But guys, that's going to be it for my first impressions. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, and I will do my best to answer those for you guys. I hope it helped. If it did, please leave a sub. I don't know why I'm talking so fast right there. But guys, I hope it helped. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.